I'm apparently an idiot because trying to send. I know that's nothing new. Trying to send links to people, I thought I sent links and I didn't. I was like, okay, here's you'll see it, 9 something, and then of course, John's an idiot, so nothing else is new. So he's finally sent the link to Max Anderson, and hopefully Max can join us for a couple of minutes before we get into the Chris Doran interview. So we'll push Chris back a little bit. We're still going to play it, and then we'll get Max in here to talk about Chicago Fire and turn it into a rapid fire education because I thought I hit a link and I didn't. Nothing like hitting control, thinking that you hit control V and you don't. So that's me. Hopefully, efforting Max Anderson coming up here in just a bit because I stink. Nothing else is new. All right. So 1-0 win for LAFC going up against Austin. And your stats on the night, it was 18 shots to 8, shots on target 5-2. And this is all LAFC in the ascendancy unless I tell you otherwise. 7 blocks for LAFC compared to 1 for Austin. Corners, 9 in the match, 8 to LAFC. Offsides, 3-2 to Austin. Brad Stuver had 4 saves, and Hugo Lloris, not really challenged, had 1 save on the night. 6 clearances, 4 to Austin. 27 fouls on the night. It was 17 fouls for LAFC compared to 10 for Austin FC. 3 yellows on the night, 2 for Austin and 1 for LAFC. Shooting breakdown once again, 2 goals compared to 1, 5 on target compared to 2, 5 off target compared to 3, and once again 7 compared to 1 when it comes to blocks on the night. So that's your rundown there when it comes to Austin FC and LAFC. What happened late last night after the World Series game? You might have heard about that. So that's the rundown when it comes to the schedule so far. And so I believe, yes, we are off for the rest of the week. Then you have the 5 matches on Saturday. It is 3:30, 5:30, 7:30, and 2 at 9:30. And it is NYC hosting Charlotte, chance to close them out. Chicago and Philly, that one, I think it's going to go 3. I think that Chicago takes care of business in match day 2 at 5:30 on Saturday. Messi and friends travel to Geodis to take on Nashville SC. Providence Park has Portland and San Diego. I think San Diego gets that one done. We'll go over juice boxes and previews tomorrow. Dallas and Vancouver, that one is at 9:30. All of those are on MLS Season Pass and Apple TV. And in Frisco, 8:30 local time start. Vancouver goes on the road to Dallas. I think Vancouver gets that one done. Columbus and Cincinnati, hell is real. I think that one ends up going to match day number 3. That's the early game on Sunday. And then the late game on Sunday, 8:45, which to me means 8:55. It is Season Pass, Apple TV, FS1, and Fox Deportes for match day number 2 at Q2. Austin and LAFC. I think LAFC takes care of business there. And then it is all taken care of, and it's all done. That's my gut. That's what my gut is. I think LAFC gets it done. I think Columbus and Cincy goes 3. I think Vancouver gets it done. I think San Diego gets it done. I think Nashville forces a game 3. I think Chicago forces a game 3. I think NYC gets it done. Like I said, that's just me. That's where I am. That's 7 of the 8. So which one am I missing? Which one of these am I missing? So if it's 7 of the 8, which one is not in the Sunday and Saturday run? Oh, Minnesota and Seattle. I think Seattle forces that one to a game 3 series as well. So we'll have that one at the beginning of next week, but we'll talk about it with our buddy Nico Moreno coming up in short order. So that's the rundown of all of that. So that's what we know when it comes to all of this stuff and Major League Soccer. Let me see if there's anything else that we have going on this morning in a news sense. Like I said, once again, remember, we've got Chris Doran. That one's in the queue. We have Nico Moreno at 10:30. We've got Nino Torres coming up at 10 o'clock. And so we might, slide some stuff here to get everybody in this morning. And we'll find out what the latest is in and around all the things when it comes to Major League Soccer and all of the stuff going on. Oh, Gummy Bear Cup. I didn't mention that. Yesterday in England, it was a bit chaotic. Enzo Maresca was not happy with what happened in his matchup yesterday in the Gummy Bear Cup. It was a 7-goal batch of chaos. Liam Delap gets 2 yellows, ends up with a red, and then that means that he is not going to be available on the weekend. Chelsea is 7-goal thriller with Wolves. I never thought you would ever have that in a sentence. Chelsea gets the win 4-3 at a -109. Manchester City eventually takes care of business, beating Swansea 3-1 at a -588. Crystal Palace beats Liverpool. It was a heavily rotated side, and Liverpool gets the loss 3-0. Crystal Palace goes into Anfield, gets the win at a +110, and now they've lost 5 in a row in all competitions across the board. So we'll see what happens there. Arsenal and Brighton, yeah, what's the chaos going to be like with Liverpool? But once again, remember, rotated side. You're in the midweek. It's the Carabao Cup. It's the Gummy Bear Cup. You're getting ready for the weekend. So we'll see what happens there. Arsenal 2-0 over Brighton. Newcastle 2-0 over Tottenham. Now, I'm an idiot. I'm a true moron because I thought I sent a link to Max Anderson, and I didn't. So I officially stink as an individual. So I'm going to bring Max in, audio only, and if we have video to pop up, then we'll go. Yeah, Max, I suck.
John, you're all good, my man.
I thought I hit Control V and I didn't, and I was like, well, and you email, and it's like I haven't seen a link, and I thought, I swear to God, I sent the link, but no, it was a
I'm
Control V on my.
all good. I'm sitting here itching to get some takes off and some thoughts about the first round, and I thought you were
Hit
cutting me
me.
off, John.
No, I suck. I just can't hit Control V. Max
All good,
Anderson,
my man. I
play-by-play
had
voice.
to. So,
Yes, hit it. So what's up? You got a what? You got a bail by when?
no, I've got about 20 minutes now, but I had to get on the move, so that's why I'm not going to be on video.
No worries. It's all good. All right. So my first question for you, sir, is this. What was Orahel thinking running all the way from Des Moines into the frame to knock down Kai Wagner?
I think that moment is an interesting one because for Fire fans, the season really started with some really poor judgment from Brian Gutierrez early in the year, right? He had a
Yep.
couple of red cards early on. This was supposed to be this huge breakout season for Brian Gutierrez, and he had a couple of red cards, so he had a suspension. He had a little injury. He did a little bit of men's national team and never got in a rhythm. And then we've seen him grow up over the last couple of months, I think, right? Even to the point where he's accepted a role, off the bench for the most part. Started obviously last game or 2 games ago, I should say. Sergio Orhel hasn't really had that immature moment yet. We haven't seen that from him, and I think as immature as it was in the moment, the intensity, the comeback had happened. Kai Wagner certainly not innocent in the situation either. It was a bad foul by Brian Gutierrez that deserved a yellow card. Just one big tough moment for a young player, and I think he'll learn from it. But I do think that in that moment, you know, did he come from right field for a shove? Absolutely. Did he do it unprovoked? Yeah, for the most part. Did Kai Wagner only deserve a yellow card? I didn't think so
Oh,
either.
yeah, that was another element of it.
So I obviously am not here to defend Kai Wagner, or excuse defend Sergio Orhel and the decision he made to take a run at Kai Wagner. But you know, throughout that game, there was some really questionable, bookings, non-bookings, calls across the board, and I
Mhm.
think that was the frustration. Is yeah, I think everyone was okay with the Sergio Orhel red card there, but I think the mischaracter or
Characterization.
mischaracterization of justice didn't happen, and I thought Kai Wagner should have had more than a yellow card there too.
And but that's what Philly's good at. They're good at sticking their chin out and sitting there and taking their index
No
finger,
question,
pointing at it and going, okay, take your shot, take your shot, take your shot, getting under your skin. And then you finally take a shot and you're the one that gets busted.
no doubt about it.
Other takeaways that you had from match day one when it comes to Fire and Union, sir?
Yeah, I mean, pretty surreal moment right before the game. We're getting ready to get started. I think we actually come back from our last break, getting ready to get action started, and our producer gets in our ear and said, the Fire just tweeted Philip Zinkernagel's out.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, I'm my partner's mid thought, and we both lock eyes, like, oh, that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
And so that first just completely, I think, I don't want to say completely derailed the plan because it was clear the plan was going to be let's try to force Philly to do their weakness rather than play to our strength.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was definitely decided once Zinkernagel was out. If you had Zinkernagel, you had the ability to maybe push them a little bit, higher. You had an ability to challenge them, I think, a little bit more. But once that happened, and I don't know if maybe the plan was already set and Martin Haile Selassie just went with the plan, but then it became clear that they were going to try to, frustrate Philly at their own game, which they did brilliantly for a half and another few minutes. But as we well know, eventually it seems like Philly finds a way to get what they want. And that's what happened in the 60 some odd minute.
Do you have a Zinkernagel update, or is that pretty much he went into the tent, they closed the door to the tent, and
Yeah,
good luck getting intel?
I don't. It's day to day from what we understand. Uh, my gut tells me he's going to be able to play. I don't know if that means start. He didn't seem in terrible discomfort. I know he did a little bit of training this week. We still don't totally understand what happened. It was obviously something right during pre-match, and everyone saw the footage of him gingerly walking off, holding his midsection. I- I'm optimistic. 50-50 is my best guess at this point.
Okay. Max Anderson, play-by-play voice for Chicago Fire on WLS and
There
any
you go.
other places that you can grab on to Max during the season. We go over match day 1 with Philly and Chicago. Get you ready for match day number 2 on the weekend, 5:30. So that translates into 5:42 Eastern time on Saturday afternoon on MLS Season Pass, Apple TV, and the local option with Max. And the funny, I won't say it was funny, but it was just you mentioned the staring contest that you had in match day 1 with Philadelphia. Literally, it's back and forth, and nothing happens until the first 2 goals that Philly scores within 5 minutes in the 70th and the 75th with Vasilev and Olaski. But I think also it speaks a lot to what Chicago did to come back with Jonathan Bamba scoring in the 84th, and then Jack Elliott. Why are you leaving Jack Elliott wide open 22 yards out? So he's got a chance to wind and go. I think it speaks a lot to the mentality and mindset that is there this year with under Greg Berhalter, where you're down 2-0, but you still got time on the clock instead of sitting there going, oh, we got time on the clock. It's no, we got time on the clock.
I'd be lying to you if I thought they were going to score 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. But what I do know is we've seen this team the entire year never give up. And I know that can be cliche, but we've seen it game in, game out. I mean,
Yep.
this team set a franchise record for road wins. You don't do that if you're mentally weak as a team and if you're not well prepared, from your coaching staff. And I think that's been, you know, as much troubles as the Fire have had over the last couple of seasons. The preparation, the plan, even if it wasn't always executed perfectly, you saw that they had a plan, they had a style, they had an identity. And yeah, no, I don't think myself, my partner, Dason Robinson, truthfully thought they could come back from 2-0, in the last 10 minutes. But especially once they got that first, you had a feeling because there was, I think, some of the substitution decisions from Philly were maybe a tad over their skis. Westfield coming in, I was a little bit surprised to see that. I thought that might have been a bit of a liability up that right side, and it turned out, maybe it was. So there's definitely some openings, and I don't know that Philly handled it as well as they would have liked to looking back on it. But it would certainly wasn't shocking in terms of this team's ability all season long to stay the course in tough environments, find wins. They weren't able to find this win, but I think as far as a penalty kick shootout loss can go, there's not much more momentum you can get from it than what they got.
All right. What are you the most confident about going into match day 2, and what concerns you the most going into match day 2?
Ooh, I think I'll start on the concern side, and that's obviously Orhel not being able to play. If Zinkernagel isn't able to go, that's two pieces that have been, obviously Zinkernagel goes without saying, but even Sergio Orhel doesn't show up on the stat sheet. If your viewers are looking up Sergio Orhel's stat line, it's not going to be pretty, but the box-to-box game he's played this season, whether it be in reserve or on the starting role, has been really critical. So, obviously injuries, what's that going to look like between with Zinkernagel? That is what I'm most focused on and most worried about as we head into this game. Having the full week off will be, a huge benefit for the Fire, at least 6 days, rather than the 3-day turnaround they had for the game against Philly.
Right.
What am I most looking forward to,
Yeah.
or most confident in?
Yeah.
This team's ability to show up.
Yeah.
I think they find a way to win at home. SeatGeek Stadium against the game against Orlando and the wild card was jumping. I mean, it was as good an environment for a Chicago Fire soccer game as I've been in a long, long time.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be even more. They didn't even sell out against Orlando. I'm pretty confident they're going to find a way to sell out or get pretty darn close to it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an amazing environment. And I think we're going to head back to Philly for game 3.
I was going to ask as my follow up, since you're reading my notes, about Bridgeview. And it just seems like it's a different vibe than being at the spaceship downtown, where it's more intimate. They're on top of you. The Section 8ers are yelling and screaming and ranting and raving. It seems like it's just a different environment, and to Chicago's benefit in that case.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. I mean, you nailed it. The way that the supporters are right on top of you, it can be a little disconcerting. It could be, a little bit loud. I mean, compared to Soldier Field, which can be a little bit cavernous, right? Even on average, they're getting 20 to 22,000 fans, but it's a 62,000 seat stadium. I mean, there's just no way to sound, as electric as you do with Bridgeview, and the way that that stadium caverns a little bit more and closes up a little bit more. They've got the big video board on one side that kind of keeps some noise in. So it's been, you know, controversial among the fan base. The Bridgeview Stadium, it's kind of out of the way. It's Bridgeview is to Chicago as Chester, Pennsylvania, kind of is to Philadelphia,
Right.
and they're building this new stadium the next couple of years. It's tremendously exciting, and hopefully I'm still lucky enough to be calling games when that comes. But Bridgeview has this unique. You show up and go play soccer feel to it. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And, it's kind of hard to get to for a lot of fans. And you get there and you're kind of trapped into 90 minutes of noise, and the playing surface. We'll see. It's been hit or miss at times, especially at this time of the year. So there's going to be some interesting variables come Saturday night.
Okay. So my first question is, what are you up to on Tuesday morning?
I think I'm coming on your show, aren't I?
Yes, you are. Just we'll figure out the time slot. Tuesday's pretty much wide open. So if you want to bet lead off Tuesday morning, you can.
Sure.
9:30 Eastern, whatever. We'll figure it out.
Sure.
All right. For folks that want to listen to you on the local option, how do they do it?
WLS. I believe if you're out of market, you can stream it on WLS890.com. I can't remember, because this is a late scheduled broadcast, whether it's going to be on live FM or if it's just on the stream. But certainly you'll find Max and Desan on the call for the Fire, and hopefully we're heading back to Chester, Pennsylvania for game 3. I think that would be good for the sport, for the city, for the fan base, and regardless what would happen there, I think tremendously successful season, and the Fire kind of think are playing with house money at this point.
You got it. All right. We will see you Tuesday morning, and we will catch up with you Tuesday morning. Have a hell of a call. We'll catch up with you, and we'll be listening and watching, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, John. Good to talk to you.